If there is a quiet revolution happening in how we feed people in this country, Elaine Chu is at the center of it. She's a registered dietitian who decided that hospital food didn't have to be what everyone assumed it had to be, and she spent her career proving it. What I love most about Elaine is that she leads with both her head and her heart. She's evidence-driven and deeply human. So what I really would love to chat with you about is just how you got started. Because to me, when I think about seeing you at the shows, seeing you at Pitch and Plate, and just what I know of you from over the years that I've gotten to know you a little bit, I've seen someone who is extremely passionate about local food, like me. So I feel there's this like-mindedness about the two of us. But whenever I see you, I just think I don't know anybody who's more of a champion for food service, but particularly when we're talking about healthcare. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about where you came from. Like you're a dietitian, but tell me a little bit about your coming up through being a dietitian and what that was like for you, and just tell me a little bit about your life.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you for thinking of me, Andrea. I also admire you greatly, putting together all those shows and featuring the local businesses. To me, as a dietitian, that is coincidental. It started in such a non-glamorous way. So if you want to hear out, I tell you why I picked dietitian or I picked dietetic to be the subject in university to go through. Nothing glamorous. At my grade 12, when I was about to have to pick a subject at UBC, I wanted a science subject that did not involve physics as a prerequisite.
Oh. That sounds like something I would do.
So that was a choice by elimination.
Okay.
So I wanted a science subject because I thought, okay, for my future, a career perspective, a science subject would be more beneficial, right? Okay. However, I hated physics. I didn't do well at all at my grade 11 and grade 12. I just needed any way to avoid physics, but still be able to go into a science subject. And so back in those days, there's still the calendar, the university calendar you flip through to look at the programs and all of that. So I flipped through, and dietetic was the only science subject that did not have physics as the prerequisite. So I thought, bingo, that's it.
That's where I'm going.
So that's where I'm going. And so I had to say, I went in not knowing the full scale of what it meant to be a dietitian.
Oh, wow.
So at that time, like I'm talking about back in the days. So back in the days, the dietetic program at UBC, it wasn't integrated. It was called postgrad. So what does that mean is that the internship aspect was totally outside of the university degree itself.
Okay.
So you could finish the degree at university without securing an internship and without the next step of being a dietitian.
Right.
So you could just graduate with a degree with no other credential.
Okay.
And so, and then it wasn't until the first term of the fourth year that I realized that was the reality.
Right.
And what I did was, so it would have been either the first day or the second day of school. So somehow that day, I flipped through the program again, that printed program.
Yeah.
It's called a calendar, I think.
Yeah.
I flipped through again and look at the dietetic program description in more details, finally, like after 3 years being in the program. And I saw internship, and I saw what it meant finally that I had to apply for myself.
It wasn't just going to happen.
No, I had to apply for myself. And then I started to look into it and look at all the criteria, all the requirements before I could even be qualified to apply.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. And so what I did was I skipped class. I went home. I flipped through the yellow pages. At that time, there was the printed yellow pages.
Yeah.
I flipped through. Why did I flip through? Because I needed volunteer experience in anything, anywhere healthcare related. So I made like 200 phone calls that afternoon. And I landed into 3 volunteer opportunities for that term. And then I studied so hard for that term. And so I needed to report my grade for 2 terms.
Yeah.
So the first term of the fourth year is a must.
Yeah.
And then there was another term that I did relatively well.
Yeah.
And so basically I did all what I needed.
Yeah.
Like in very short time to make myself a quality candidate to apply for internship program across the country. So you pick the program across the country.
Right.
And so at that time, I was also strategic to look at what were the requirements of the different programs through the country to find that would fit my limited presentation a bit more. So, and at the end, I got the one from Edmonton. So at that time, like internship is unpaid. If you going outside of your hometown, home city, you just needed to manage your own expenses.
Oh my
But to me, I thought that doesn't matter. None of those matter, right? I just needed to get to one and finish it. And that was what happened.
Wow.
So I went to Edmonton right after UBC and to completed my 10-month internship program.
Wow.
That 10 months and then turned it into 15 years of staying in Edmonton.
Gosh.
And so I spent a good 15 years in Edmonton after my graduation from
And who
UBC.
were you working for in Edmonton?
I worked for Capital Health. That's the authority in the Edmonton area, which then became the Amalgamated Provincial Health Authority, which is the Alberta Health Services. So, but my first job wasn't with the health authority. My first job, my first 2 years in my career, I was working in an inner city single men's hostel.
Oh, wow.
So it's a non-profit organization, like just equivalent to Downtown East Side in Vancouver.
I have a friend who's working in one of those. So
So it's called the Hope Mission. It's a Christian organization.
Yeah.
So at that time, I just didn't think much. So I went into all this not really thinking too much, but it was what presented to me at the moments that make the most sense.
Right.
And so after my finishing of the internship, I knew about this opportunity at Hope Mission, which is that inner city Christian organization. And they needed a food service manager for their single men's hostel.
Oh, wow.
And then I thought, okay, well, that's my education and that's my faith. Let's bring it together.
Bring it together,
So to me, that just made the most sense that I had a full-time job and in where I finished my internship, the city, and seems to be the organization that will fit into a lot of my education and my values. And so I went to apply for that food service manager job. And I remember so clear. So it was like you and me sitting here, me and that program manager. And then he said this, Elaine, this job is not glamorous. I think he was looking at my resume that I graduated from a university and that I had this credential as a dietitian. But at that point, I just did not think much. None of those were a matter to me.
Right.
And then I thought, well, no, I will be happy to take the position if I got offered. Right. And so he was still skeptical. He just didn't think that it added up. And so he took me out to the center itself to look at the center. Now, he wanted to deter me from taking the offer because he just didn't see the fit. So when I was at the center looking at the center, it was so peace and quiet because it was 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
Right.
There was no one.
Right.
The door was locked. And so I thought, oh, that looks good. Like, this is like a normal food service, like institutional food service kind of a setting. And I would take it. So I took the job. Not until the first day of my work. So I started there at 9 and then 11 a.m. the door opened. And like, in a moment, in front of me, in front of me was hundreds of homeless individuals coming through the line to grab lunch. I had to say it was overwhelming. It wasn't really what I was expecting.
Right.
The level of overwhelmingness was more than what I was prepared.
Right.
So it was such a good learning opportunity for that 2 years in that food service department with my team, which was made up of such a diverse team of people from any walk of life. A lot of the individuals on my team were from the center. that was a step for them to be returned to the community.
Right.
And so for me as a first-time manager, first time in that environment, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't think I would take the job if I were older.
Right.
I took it because I was so young. I was naive.
Yeah.
But it was those 2 years of going into it without really thinking too much. That established my foundation of my leadership style, of my way of looking at people.
Right.
That also set the foundation for me to be compassionate, to be kind, to always look at the good of people in any situation. And it also taught me how to run a business.
Yeah.
Although in such a small scope compared to things that I started to do later on.
Yeah.
But that was the foundation of my values, of
makes
my
so much sense.
leadership, how I see people, how I collaborate.
Yeah.
That was the foundation, that 2 years. I had to do everything in that little kitchen. We didn't have much of regular food supply. We go to the food bank of the city every Friday. And from there, we got what we got and we planned the menu for the week after.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, wow. That's not easy.
That wasn't. It just started my career in this industry in such a unique way.
I actually can just see like everything that you're telling me actually shows me why you needed that to do what you're doing now. No, because all of those things are like turning on a dime and having to make changes.
Yes.
Being compassionate towards people. Having situations that like lots of people, right?
Lots of people.
Yeah.
Lots of people in need, right? And then
amazing.
I had to receive product because there wasn't a receiver like this Elaine person.
Yeah, you were the receiver.
I did it all. I did it all, and I was the receiving person. I remember it was such a it was so hot in the kitchen. I had to wear shorts. I had to just do everything, including that receiving. 50 pound of a box, 50 kilogram of a box. I just received them down like as it came down the chute. And I remember because I was so ill prepared to do those receiving jobs.
Yeah,
I bruised myself. Like all over, from my hand to my arm to my legs, and I looked like someone that was being abused physically.
Wow.
So that was that was my work environment for a good 2 years. So I got trained to be quite tough.
Yeah, I bet you did.
And persistent. I remember. So during the summer, July and August, we ran a kids summer camp.
Yeah.
In the more remote place. It was called Smoky Lake, I think. So it was like a 2-hour drive from Edmonton.
Yeah.
And so I was the one using my little hatchback, trucking the food over to the camp.
Wow.
From the center.
Yeah.
And so I trucked that every week for 2 months straight, back and forth to the camp.
Yeah.
And then I remember I got stopped because I was in such a rush on the Sunday, going to the camp and getting ready for the Monday when all the kids arrived. I got stopped by a police on the highway because I was speeding.
Uh-oh.
And I was just begging him, let me go. The kids need the food.
Did he let you go?
He let me go.
Oh, nice. You're a good negotiator too, apparently.
So he saw all these boxes in my bag and look at my desperate face, and he let me go.
Yeah.
But I think, you were right. All this just trained me a mentality of pressing on.
Yeah.
Yes, and just persevere. Yeah.
I mean, partly, yes. And also just like the compassion part. And it just sounds like it was such a good foundation for you. So when you eventually moved to BC,
Yes,
And
yes.
did you join Fraser Health at that point?
Yes, yes. I moved to BC in 2013. So that was after another, so those 2 years in Hope Mission were the very beginning of my career. And then I returned back to the hospital system, the Capital Health, and which became Alberta Health Services. So I spent the remaining 12 years of my 15 years at the University of Alberta Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So that was the workplace that also formed me immensely. I from there, I learned to collaborate with the clinical teams, collaborated with the other partners in the hospital system from one hospital of a scope. And then because of even the Capital Health region was a regional health authority that covered Edmonton. But then when it became the provincial amalgamated health authority, the Alberta Health Services, I got the opportunity to work quite provincially to learn about how to liaise with the other partners across and to scale up initiative as well. So my last project at the U of A hospital was the capital project, the renovation of the kitchen department. We changed system and we renovated the entire production kitchen. And so it was after that completion of that project, I thought, my time in Edmonton can wrap up. I feel complete.
Right.
I feel I brought my team to the next level sufficiently that I could now move on.
Right.
My family's always in Vancouver. My then boyfriend, now husband's also in Vancouver. So it just makes sense for me to return here. And so I joined Fraser Health.
Yeah.
I was at Eagle Ridge Hospital as my first job.
Okay.
It was also a humbling experience coming back to BC and joining Fraser Health and Eagle Ridge Hospital. So at the U of A hospital, it was a large scale facility, and at that time, I would say I was already quite established.
Right.
Have a status like in Edmonton, in Alberta, and I pretty much had to start all over in BC with Fraser Health, with Eagle Ridge Hospital. Yeah. Have to re-establish my reports with people. It's almost like I have to reprove myself, who I am, what do I have to offer. So that also was my foundation of everything else that I could build out in Fraser Health in BC.
Was it sort of like a pilot for you, do you think?
It was a starting point.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't say a pilot because when you did a pilot, you know you are planning a pilot, right?
Yeah, you weren't aware.
I wasn't planning.
Right.
I had nothing that would formulate a plan at that point. Okay. I was planning as I went, like as I go, and I didn't know what did I have that I could build it out. Yeah. I didn't know what my capacity was. I didn't know people. I just didn't know anything. Yeah. I knew the team that was most immediate to me. Yeah. The director that hired me to bring it back to BC. But otherwise, I did not know what I used to know. Right. So that was where the humbling components come in. Okay. I had to relearn the system. Yeah. I had to reestablish report, collaboration, opportunity, and it's almost like I had to find opportunities. Once again, no one had it ready for me, like how I used to be in Edmonton. Yeah. Yeah, so it was also very humbling of an experience that it also taught me one more time to pivot and to not give up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Huh. And how long were you there for?
At Eagle Ridge?
Yeah.
Oh, I was at Eagle Ridge for a good 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a maternity leave in between. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
But that was my grant. That became the grant. That became that like down to earth, relearning everything of a grant, which I thought is important to be able to come in like that. And then from there, I took on the job at Royal Columbian Hospital. And then it was from Royal Columbian Hospital that I took on the job as the director for food service transformation and strategic projects. Okay. And so that is my job now. And so taking all what I have learned from like the Hope Mission time in Edmonton's inner city.
Like it's all come to, to be what you are today.
Yeah, the U of A Hospital in Edmonton, to Eagle Ridge, to Royal Columbian Hospital, and to now looking at the system, taking all those in, looking at the system really from a system perspective, and hoping to still be relevant while I'm not at a site level anymore, but that still be grounded, be relevant, be pragmatic, but also looking at the people being the center of the system. Yeah. So I think that's how it all come together to this point. And of course, I look forward to whatever that next point is that I can then take wherever now to wherever the next.
Right, right. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about kind of the how the local food movement has kind of come to be in your area, and like just your interest around it, and obviously you're a champion for it, and so there's personal passion there, I'm sure, but also what else has made that up?
So well, I'm humbled that you call me the champion. There's so much more that I would like to do and I hope to do. Particularly if we talk about local food, farm to hospital is that vision that has planted a seed in my heart since I wanted to say 3 years ago. Okay. So I collaborated with Nourish Leadership very closely in the last 4-5 years. And Nourish Leadership is a cross-Canada not-for-profit organization with a vision to advance food in healthcare. Okay. So now you can see how we collaborate so closely together because the vision are just so aligned. Right. I also would say that it is because of Nourish that I had the opportunity to explore such a beautiful vision. Yeah. And so 3 years ago, 2023, myself and 2 other health authorities in BC, PHSA and Provincial Health Services and Providence Healthcare, we became a cohort working with Nourish for 2 years. Wow. So it is a learning cohort that we come together with some established goals all along the vision of aligning food and advancing food in healthcare. Okay. So I didn't want to do it alone. So we collaborated as a 3 health authorities collaboration. Yeah. So anyway, so as the first activity of that 2-year journey, we were to plan a learning trip for ourselves. Right. So we were giving a fund and that we were to go out and plan a learning trip. So what I planned was a field trip to New York City. And also, while doing that, attended a conference in Pennsylvania. Okay. The conference was called Farm to Healthcare. Oh. So when we map out this journey, that Farm to Healthcare conference just became workable to work into the schedule. Yeah. And so we went. It was at that conference. Now, okay, give you some context of that Farm to Healthcare. So it was this particular regenerative farm called Rodell. And that they are in Pennsylvania and they supply they supply their regenerative farm produce to the hospital chain in the vicinity. Yeah. So the conference that we went to was at a hospital, which the farm was across. Oh, wow. Like they were like across the street. Wow. Proximity.
So it was easy for them to move
and
that.
So when I was there, I started to think, Fraser Health, that's exactly how we are situated. The farm on one side and then the hospital on the other side.
Yeah.
So that was the seed of that being planted in me from that conference. Thinking about the actual physical, geographical setup of Fraser Health. That we are just surrounded by farms of many things. And so to me, farm to hospital, like it is literally looking at the farm and the hospital within the literal actual Fraser Health region. So that vision has been in me since then.
Right.
And so over, I want to say over a year or so, I keep having that thought and the seed in me, but it didn't go too far.
Right.
The right climate hasn't happened.
Right.
And so every time I talk about this to people, the reaction was more like, oh, okay. Until last year, I find out that I was still at a Royal Columbian Hospital. So until then, I was talking to a colleague, a clinical manager. His name is Kojit. So anyway, I talked to Kojit because I heard about he owned a blueberry farm, like a family blueberry farm, and that he has been selling blueberry to the hospital staff for 10 years then.
Oh, to the staff? To
the staff. And so I said, like, what about you sell it to patient food? I said, of course. That was the starting point. That was the spark.
Wow.
That was the moment when it became real. And so last year, and he was so kind that he didn't just supply, he donated blueberries to both Royal Columbian Hospital, Surrey Memorial Hospital, and 2 other long-term care.
Wow.
And the precious moments came not only because of that multiple weeks of blueberry delivery to both New West and to Surrey, but the opportunity that started because of that. Because to me, it became that it's real. The vision can turn into action. Right? So that just got me so excited to start thinking about what else. And so it became the corn on the cob as the other produce that we brought into Fraser Health right from the farm last year. And so that became a starting point. That became, it can be real. Right? And because of it, it became real. Then when I started to talk to people, it wasn't like, oh, okay. It was like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're actually doing it.
And the reaction was so different because now I had a case study. Now, the case study wasn't perfect. There was a lot of gaps that needed a lot of tying together. So two of the big gaps were processing and distribution. Distribution being what I was able to meet the gap because I became the one trucking some of the corns last year from one side to another, right?
So you had a distribution issue.
Distribution and processing because when you think about what came off from the farm field,
it has to be processed.
It is whole, right? We're talking about a whole piece of something.
It has to be prepared.
That at least for our typical routine operation, right now in our typical routine operation, we just did not have that capacity to process something and a lot of that something from a whole to something that is readily usable for patient meal trays. So processing and distribution then became that thing that I thought, okay, if we are to build it out, it needed to be upgraded beyond Elaine keep trucking it myself, right?
Right, of course.
And so, but then because I had a case study from that too humble experience, I started to have something that we could talk about. And that became also part of the food strategy for people and planet framework that not just Fraser Health, not just Lower Mainland, but across BC, all the food team of all the health authorities are working towards together since September last year. Now, so all this leveraging came together to become a point of how we were able to take it to another level this year, 2026.
That's amazing.
So this year, Farm to Hospital, it became most real ever for us that We are collaborating with BC Fresh.
Yeah.
We are collaborating with a food distributor like Cisco.
Yeah.
And to meet the gap of processing and distribution.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so this year we have 3 things that we are featuring. The Whopper potatoes that we held.
Saw that on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that we organized 2 food fairs already. One at Abbotsford Hospital, one at Burnaby Hospital these last 2 weeks. And then we are going to feature blueberries.
Nice.
We are going to feature the chili white corn on the cob.
Oh, nice.
And so those would be the 3 that this year in 2026, the most upgraded version ever that we also have distribution and processing built in.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That is really cool. And we are, Fraser Health, we are one of the multiple solutions to this same farm to hospital vision.
Yeah.
And now that all the food team across all health authority in BC are working together, we are also bringing it together in an integrated way.
Wow.
Every health authority have their version of materializing farm to hospital.
Yeah.
And that is all beautiful. And that we are doing what works within our context.
Yeah.
In a multi-solving way to bring that beautiful BC farm fresh seasonal local produce into the hospital food system.
Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah, so that is something that I'm just really, really excited and grateful about.
It makes me wonder too if is there any kind of connection as well to what we're doing with Pitch and Plate in terms of, again, getting that focus to local. Like when you talk about the excitement that you feel in all of this coming together for you, I feel that about Pitch and Plate.
Yes.
I see that we've worked with over 100 brands to get into this. And actually what we really noticed was a real uptake when healthcare actually got involved in Pitch and Plate more readily. Like it started out, it was really mostly post-secondary. And so then healthcare kind of took this interest, and we really noticed a big difference in the uptake actually after healthcare got involved with that. So is there anything you can speak to about Pitch and Plate?
Yes, healthcare compared to post-secondary school, compared to the public school system, healthcare would always be more unique in terms of what we are looking for, right? And the price point as well.
Yeah.
The desire is totally there to bring on the local. And right now in BC, I would say the opportunity is bigger and more flexible because retail food service is part of the game, right? And so retail food service operation, patient food service operation, we are all within the health authority. We are all part of this giant system. And retail food service would always have more flexibilities. In terms
We've seen that too.
Right. In terms of what to bring in and how to bring in. Okay. Patient food would always have those rigidity that is a lot of what's the word? A lot of mitigating along the way of finding that product for that opportunity.
Right.
Now, having said that, it doesn't mean it's impossible. But sometimes the local business, which are usually smaller, would also need to have that capacity to deal with this rigidity. Right?
That's true.
Now, on the other hand, they might have that flexibility because they are smaller. However, would we be able to promise the quantity so that it's also feasible for the small business to operate, right? In a sustainable way, right? So I think it is a very two ways of a dialogue. Because at the end of the day, whatever that the healthcare, let's say the patient food service side, wanted to procure from the local business, we want it to be a benefit to them.
Right.
We want it to be a mutual beneficial thing for both sides, right? And so I think through the last couple of years of joining the Pitch and Plate event, I think that was the one thing that got me thinking. The rigidity that we present, is it a plus or is it not a plus?
Right.
Right? To the other side.
Yeah.
And I want it to be a plus.
Yeah. Okay.
To be mutually beneficial
Yeah.
has to be the ultimate result.
Right.
Yes. So I guess I'm cautious about making sure that it is a plus.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
But for retail, the flexibility is way bigger, right? And for retail to keep needing to change their product to keep it interesting for their customers.
We've seen that too. We've seen that retail seems to be a much bigger opportunity, and that there's just a lot of hoops when we're talking about patient tray, and there's a lot of challenges with it.
Because it also go back to distribution.
Yes,
right.
Of course.
You know that question we always ask, right? After almost each pitch.
Yes.
And being listed is also a big deal.
Yeah.
It's also a very costly investment.
Yes.
Right.
It is.
Now, after it's being listed, are we in the position to say you will always have the quantity? Like I just cannot say for sure.
I know there's always these little caveats, right? With this, yeah, I know.
Right, and so that is why retail really present a better angle for this to get going, right? Because for retail to receive a certain product in a more flexible of a schedule, that also make distribution more feasible. Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Oh, interesting. Is there any advice you could offer to our local brands?
It has to taste good.
Has to be good too, though, does it not?
It has to taste good. It has to taste good. It has to taste good.
What about nutritional content?
I was about to bring this balance together. Now, right now, I know there's a lot of hype out there talking about plant-based, talking about high protein, high this, low that, right? And this also tie into what I was talking about, that mutual benefit aspect, because that as a, not even as a dietitian, as a normal person, I want to eat what tastes good, but also what tastes natural.
Yes.
Right? So too much tailoring of a certain formula to make it as this and as that, there will always be some compromises.
Yes.
And I wanted to say that if anything, I want it to be more natural than tailored, formulated.
Right.
Because I have seen the compromises and how it didn't land well at the end for taste.
Yeah. No, totally understand that. Totally understand that.
But on the other hand, for us, for healthcare, our nutrition standard is also reshaping to be more customer friendly, to be more focusing on the experience while considering the therapeutic need for those that need the therapeutic needs. Right. But I don't think that we need to make everything plant-based nor high protein in order to suit the market.
Right.
I think as much as we are to listen to the market, we have also the obligation to influence the market.
Right.
I think that also is one of my belief, realizing that as a dietitian, we are that professional voice to advise people on food. But also healthcare as an anchor institution, we also have a position to influence the right message, right, at the right time. Yeah. So I think to me, that all need to come into balance. What is needed in the market, but what is the right message needed for the market? Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. And it was just a joy to interview you.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that you left some tips and things like that for the folks that are listening to this, because it's brands that really listen to this and kind of want to understand this path to market, right? So I think it's good and clear, and and I really appreciate your time and spending it with us.
Well, thank you, Andrea, for having me. I look forward to your next Pitch and Play event.
Thank you.